on our website. Video platform TikTok, owned by Chinese internet company ByteDance, is a social media and entertainment giant with an estimated 1.6 billion monthly users. But it's now been banned from government devices in the US over national security concerns and is facing increasing scrutiny in Australia. Patrick Begley reports.
Australian politicians of all stripes have been tempted by TikTok. It's the most downloaded app in the world, and each of the major parties has used it to try and reach voters.
Many young people are disengaged from the political process or from elected reps, but are deeply interested in issues, particularly those which affect the future of the country and their future.
A Year 10 work experience student helped get Labor MP Julian Hill up and running on the app.
Science is real, climate change is real, and we need to actually do something about that.
Now he has 147,000 followers, making him one of the most popular Australian politicians on the platform.
I've received, over the last couple of years, enormous feedback, and strangely not just from young people themselves, but I've had many emails from their parents saying thank you for helping get my young person engaged in the political process and engaged in issues.
But TikTok, whose parent company is based in China, has faced ongoing criticisms about data collection and privacy.
It collects quite a bit more than the average social media company.
Robert Potter has worked as a cybersecurity advisor to the federal government. His company released a report last year claiming TikTok collected excessive amounts of data about a user's location and phone.
So it collects latitude, longitude of posts, it collects user profile data, it gives the phone, it demands some pretty intense privileges over the phone, including access to the contacts listed.
TikTok, which declined 730's request for an interview, says it collects less information than many popular apps. It says Robert Potter's report contained fundamental misunderstandings and baseless claims.
Well, they've never demonstrated that. They've made that claim repeatedly. We've been quite open and said, well, it's not our word against TikTok, it's TikTok's source code against TikTok.
Julian Hill now sits on the powerful Security and Intelligence Committee in Parliament. He says he's been aware of concerns around data and privacy from when he first used the app and has always taken precautions.
I've never had TikTok on my government phone because I was aware of those concerns, and it's on a second phone, the red phone we call it, which I use for a wide range of community outreach activities, but it's always been separated from anything that could be remotely sensitive.
India banned TikTok in 2020, citing national security fears. In December, the US Congress banned TikTok from being used on government devices.
So TikTok is owned by ByteDance, and ByteDance is subject to the 2017 National Intelligence Law of China. And what that law requires is that all Chinese entities and all Chinese individuals cooperate with the direction of Chinese intelligence agencies, and that they keep that cooperation secret.
The Department of Parliamentary Services recently issued this memo to members of Parliament.
Following recent media reports regarding apps such as TikTok, DPS urges careful consideration before installing apps on parliamentary or personally owned devices.
The memo urged users to
consider the country of origin in which the app development company is located, including the government use of data in those countries.
The opposition says TikTok should be banned for all federal government employees, unless it's safe and essential for them to use it. And it's open to a wider ban.
My first preference is that we're able to deal with this without banning it, but if it is necessary to ban it, if it's the only way to protect Australians to ban it, then I think that option has to remain on the table.
Home Affairs Minister Claire O'Neill has ruled that out.
The government's not currently considering a ban on TikTok. TikTok is one of the most widely used apps in Australia, much beloved by Australia's young people in particular. It's not currently on the table.
But the government has ordered a review of social media apps, including TikTok,
We do need to look at how we're going to manage this. We've got this pretty serious problem that's facing us here, where we've got technology that's being used by Australians that's owned by companies that are located in authoritarian countries.
The minister declined to answer 730's questions about her own TikTok account, which disappeared last year. Defence Minister Richard Marles hasn't used his account since the federal election, and his videos are now gone. In a statement, TikTok told 730,
"We have never shared Australian user data with the Chinese government, nor would we if asked. As a rule, our security teams want to minimise the number of people who have access to data and limit it only to people who need that access in order to do their jobs."
So ByteDance is a huge sort of Chinese tech giant. It has created many apps, dozens of apps, most of whom we don't know in the United States. And TikTok was just one of those at the beginning.
Journalist Emily Baker-White has reported extensively on the relationship between TikTok and its parent company, ByteDance. But late last year, she discovered she had become part of her own story.
Members of a ByteDance-based team, the internal audit and risk control team at ByteDance, improperly accessed my data, actually. They were trying to figure out who within the company was sourcing my stories. And so a group of people tried to use my IP address to figure out where I was physically.
The reporter was told by a source she had been monitored in an attempt to crack down on leaks. An investigation by ByteDance and TikTok later found journalists from 2 media outlets had been tracked. 4 staff were fired.
If it was a couple of bad actors, it was also a couple of bad actors following orders from their bosses.
The revelations damaged TikTok in the US, where it has been embarking on a massive effort to separate its systems from those of ByteDance and win government approval.
I think we are starting to see more and more a bipartisan call to ban TikTok. And if I were TikTok, I would be pretty alarmed about that.
It's a very different political climate in the United States. And they have much more aggressive regulation.
It's my view that we've now moved beyond just simple assurances and promises from that company. We now need regulatory or legislative action to really substantially protect Australians.
The findings of the Department of Home Affairs review are due to be released soon.
It's not platform targeting, so it's looking at a whole range of platforms and the cybersecurity risks, data harvesting risks, privacy risks and so on. So we need to wait and see what the outcomes of that review say.
It's headed for a reckoning. It's headed for some significant questions, and they need to be more open than what they've been so far.